It's no wonder little Richard Sandrak earned the title of the world's strongest boy. From the age of 8, he was working out like you wouldn't believe. It brought him fame and fortune, but now we learn of the heartache and abuse behind that amazing physique.
How in the world can a little boy have muscles like these?
I look like a monster. Yeah, I'm serious. Like, I had these huge muscles, which were way too big. I overworked a little bit.
Richard's parents were heavily involved in physical training, and inevitably, their little boy seemed eager to join in.
I would say he was about 3.5, 4. And we had a huge barbell, and he was trying to lift it and hold it and shake it. I said, you know what, let's try something lighter. So we made him like small dumbbell, I don't know, it was half pound.
Pavel also added martial arts to his 4-year-old son's routine, and it was some pretty amazing stuff, like standing on a basketball to hone his balance. And because Richard lifted weights, his kicks and punches were far more ferocious than most mortal little boys. But it wasn't just fitness that Pavel craved for his son. He also wanted him to be a star. So he took Richard to celebrity fitness trainer and promoter Frank Giardina and his wife, Sherry. Frank and Sherry choreographed a pretty flashy performance routine, but they kept Richard and what he could do a secret until they unveiled him months later as Little Hercules.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce Little Hercules!
Richard was paraded around the country as an Arnold Schwarzenegger mini-me. His endorsements were pulling in thousands a month. To the outside, Richard seemed on top of the world. But behind the celebrity, there was a dark secret. Richard was a sad and isolated little boy.
We didn't know that Richard had no toys at home. He had no bicycle. He had no skateboard. He never was allowed to go outside. He never went to the park.
Frank and Sherry were also becoming worried that Pavel was keeping Richard exceedingly thin to make his muscles stand out.
Richard had never even had pizza, never seen it, and the father wouldn't let him have it. The father ate the pizza, and what Richard ate was a bowl of lettuce.
Frank and Sherry say the bulk of Richard's diet was a powdered drink that his father, Pavel, fed him at least 3 times a day. There were plenty of rumors that Pavel was feeding his son steroids.
Is it possible that your dad could have been giving you steroids in those drinks?
No way.
And you didn't know about it?
No. My mom was always there. My mom mostly made the drinks.
You never asked him directly, are you putting steroids into this powder?
No, I never asked him, no.
Why didn't you ask him? Why didn't you say, hey, what's in this powder?
I think I was afraid of him a lot.
Lena says Pavel, unraveling, started drinking heavily and turned his anger against his family.
He would just hit you with his fist in the face, in the back.
He just hit me fists and kicks.
Where?
Everywhere. Whenever possible. And after that he says, well, I hope you learned your lesson. Lesson about what?
Did he hit you in the face?
Yeah, a lot of times. I had bruises all over.
I mean, you loved your dad, right? And here this person you loved was hitting you.
After I became 9, love wasn't really the word, you know?
It all came to an emotional head in the spring of 2003. Pavel was beating his wife, and Richard believed he was about to kill her. That's when this little Hercules became a little hero. He called the cops.
I told them not to sound the sirens because my dad is a very suspicious man.
So they came very quietly.
And once he just went to the kitchen to drink some more vodka, on that perfect timing, they just went in and just took him away.
Do you miss him?
No, not at all. It's a relief he's gone.
Do you still have your 6-pack?
Yeah.
Is it?
Right here.
Whatever was in those shakes that Pavel made, one thing's for sure.
Good.
Richard now is not as buff as he used to be. Maybe it's because his diet has changed, or maybe it's because he no longer lifts weights and can't until he's 16, under orders from a social services judge.
Bada bing.
But make no mistake, the world's strongest boy is still in very good shape, and he works out nearly every day. And for the first time, at the age of 12, Richard is more like a real kid. He's now enrolled in public school. He's taken up rollerblading, and finally, he has friends his own age.
And he's all like, let me block you. There's a lot of kids out there who are abused.
It's true, but you have come out of it somehow fairly normal. How do you think that happened?
Well, I try not to think about it as much because life is short, and I want to enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah, it seems like a